Have you ever gone back to the place you grew up and realised you're seeing it completely differently? How being there marks the change between who you were then and who you are now. This is a story about going home after 15 years to the place that made me. I'm back in the studio now, but I recently got back from a trip to Lutruwita, otherwise known as Tasmania, which is where I grew up. And as I've been working in the studio on pieces of art that are drawn from the source material that I collected while I was back there, I've been reflecting a lot on what it means to go home after you've been through a big change in your life. And of course, I've been back there in the last 15 years, but this trip hit differently. The last time I visited, I was still in corporate mode, still climbing, still running on that schedule. The packed itinerary, the buzzing phone, the backlog of emails that never seem to get answered, and prepping for the next meeting. I was too busy being the person I'd become to actually really notice it. But this time was different. This time I went home as an artist, and that changed everything. My days while I was there were filled with family and friends and not a huge amount of time for sketching. I did get a couple of sketches in, but I knew I wanted to reconnect with the wild there. I wanted to breathe in the distinctive scent of the pepperberry, the eucalyptus, the sassafras, and that smell of the wet, muddy earth beneath my feet. It was a scent I was deeply familiar with. So one day we escaped to hike to Hartz Pass in the Hartz Mountains. A wilderness area to the southwest of Hobart. And as soon as I stepped out of the car, I smelled it, that scent of alpine heath. And it took me right back to that small, uncertain, and highly sensitive child who even then found solace in the wilderness. Have you ever had that? A scent trigger the strongest memory? Apparently this happens because your scent organs are right next to your hippocampus and amygdala, and they process emotion and memory, and that's why a scent can evoke such a powerful memory. Hey, Editor Claire here, just jumping in really quickly to say if you're enjoying this video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. The support means a huge amount to me, and I really appreciate you being here on the journey with me. So back to the stunning, wild, rugged beauty of the Hartz Mountains. This place is ancient. The vegetation blends from cool, temperate rainforest up to alpine heathlands. Walking through them as a child, I felt their magic, but I did not have words for it. But now I do. Now I see the way the tea tree stained creeks ripple over the rocks, the way the low cloud kisses the granite rocks on the mountains, the spindly gums bending upwards towards the sky, shaped by the wind. Coming back as someone who now spends her days looking, really looking. I felt like the place was showing me something I'd always been too young or too busy or too distracted to see. You go home and you're caught between the two versions of yourself. The person you were when you left and the person you've become. And the place holds both of you simultaneously. I walked this hike through country that I know so well, deep in my bones, in the place that I had been as a child. I felt that same damp air on my face, but the meaning of it had shifted because I had shifted. When I left Lutruwita all those years ago, I left as someone who was going to prove something to the world, and I did. I built a career, but somewhere along the way, I stopped looking, stopped noticing the colour of the eucalypts because there was always a deadline, always a meeting, always something more important than looking. Painting and sculpture gave me that back. It gave me permission to stop and look, to really, really look. And not just look, but to smell and feel and see and to just be in that amazingly beautiful and wild place. And back in the studio, that's what I'm re-experiencing as I bring those feelings and what I saw back into the works that I'm making now. That was the gift this trip gave me. And I don't have any finished works to show you, but here are some sneak peeks of what I'm working on in the studio right now and how I'm trying to invest these works with the sensation of being there. So stay tuned in the coming weeks to see how these works develop over time. I am so thankful for this trip, for the opportunity to go back to the place I grew up and to reflect on how far I've come, as well as gathering so much inspiration for new work in the studio. It really made me realize how deeply inspiring that my childhood in Lutruwita was, and how that was the inception of my deep love and respect for wild places. I'd love to know down in the comments if you've ever been home and experienced it as a completely different person, reflecting on how far you've come in your life. Don't forget you can find me on Instagram at ClareBondArt. So that's all for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.